Welcome back to CIA Declassified. Today we step into the gilded world of the luxury defector. The setting is a quiet tree-lined street in an affluent American suburb in 1974. The man living at house number 42 mows his lawn, waves to his neighbors, and attends the local PTA meetings. To the world, he is a retired insurance salesman. To the CIA, he is a former KGB general who knows every secret of the Kremlin's nuclear arsenal. Keeping him happy, quiet, and alive is the agency's most delicate mission. This is the story of Project Gentleman. How did a program for defectors get such a refined title? The name Project Gentleman was chosen to reflect the specialized treatment required for high-ranking intelligence officers. Unlike low-level walk-ins who were treated as mere informants, Soviet colonels and generals expected to be treated according to their former rank. The agency realized that if they wanted high-level gentlemen to betray their country, they had to offer a gentleman's agreement, a life of comfort, status, and protection that mirrored the elite lifestyle they were leaving behind. It was a promise of class-based preservation. The agency spent millions creating a simulated reality for men who knew too much. The CIA established a network of ultra-secure, high-end safe houses across the United States, often masquerading as private estates or corporate retreats to house defectors during their initial debriefing phase. A quote from a declassified 1972 Office of Security memo: "The defector must feel that his transition is not a descent into a cell, but an ascent into the American dream. Any feeling of captivity will jeopardize the flow of intelligence." End quote. Project Gentleman included a lifestyle maintenance allowance, providing defectors with luxury cars, tailored suits, and even stipends for high-end hobbies like golf or stamp collecting to keep their minds occupied. A quote from former CIA Director Richard Helms: "Defectors are the most difficult people in the world to manage. They are often arrogant, lonely, and deeply paranoid. We are their only friends, and they hate us for it." End quote. The program utilized resettlement officers who acted as full-time handlers, helping defectors navigate mundane tasks like opening a bank account or buying a refrigerator while under 24-hour armed protection. A quote from a declassified report on Defector B: "Subject continues to express dissatisfaction with the brand of caviar provided. Recommend increasing the entertainment budget to prevent a depressive episode or potential redefection." End quote. The agency had to develop identity backstories for defectors that were so airtight they could withstand scrutiny from inquisitive neighbors or local law enforcement. A quote from the CIA training manual on asset resettlement: "A successful cover is not a lie. It is a meticulously constructed second truth that is easier to believe than the reality." End quote. One of the most famous cases involved Vitaly, I'm going to butcher this last name, Yurchenko, Yurchenko, a high-level defector who famously re-defected back to the Soviet Union after slipping away from his handlers at a Georgetown restaurant. A quote from a 1985 CIA damage assessment: "The loss of," again, I might butcher the name, Yurchenko, "is a stinging reminder that no amount of material comfort can substitute for a subject's lost sense of national identity." End quote. Documents show the agency would often pay for the relocation of a defector's entire family, including pets, just to ensure their psychological stability remained high enough for debriefing. A quote from an internal memorandum on Project Gentleman budgeting: The cost of one gentleman for 10 years is roughly equivalent to the cost of a single U-2 flight, but with significantly higher intelligence yields, end quote. Project Gentleman utilized the deep cover placement technique, where defectors were given jobs as university consultants or think tank fellows to explain their unexplained wealth and specialized knowledge. The agency kept gentlemen safe houses in neutral locations like Hawaii or the Caribbean to provide defectors with vacations from their new American lives, reducing the risk of flight. To avoid detection by foreign hit squads, the CIA often utilized medical masking, where a defector would undergo minor elective plastic surgery to change their facial profile before being moved into a neighborhood. A quote from a 1977 congressional hearing on intelligence expenditures. "We are effectively running a high-end retirement home for the enemies of the state, but it is a home that pays for itself in nuclear secrets." End quote. Defectors under Project Gentleman were frequently assigned guardian angels, retired police officers or security professionals who lived in the house next door to provide an invisible layer of defense. The project declassified a socialization protocol which instructed handlers to encourage defectors to join local church groups or bowling leagues to ground them in reality. By the late 1980s, the program managed assets from over 20 different nations, including high-ranking officers from the Stasi and the Securitate, Securitate. But when we look at the declassified files, there are shadows that are long in certain documents, like the one titled The Discard Protocols. That file contains more redactions than any other document in the Gentleman Archive, specifically the section on Final Status Resolution, which is completely blacked out. Over 1,900 pages of non-productive asset management are missing. Why is the agency hiding what happens to a gentleman when he is no longer useful? Get ready for the theory of the ghost neighbor. Speculation suggests your accountant might actually be a retired Russian general living under Project Gentleman. This theory claims the redactions in the identity section logs hide the fact that the agency swaps out the identities of deceased American citizens with aging defectors, and that the 1,900 pages are a directory of sleeper defectors currently living in every zip code in the United States. Some imagine the 1,900 redacted pages have to do with a sunset audit. This theory suggests that once a defector becomes too old or too mentally unstable to be safely managed, the agency doesn't retire them. It deletes them. They claim the redactions describe a specialized nursing home that is actually a high-security prison where defectors are kept until they pass away. Theorists looking at the blacked-out pension distribution files argue the agency is using Project Gentleman to launder billions of dollars. They claim the redactions hide a plan where fake defectors are created on paper to justify massive luxury expenditures that actually fund off-the-books black ops. Gossip suggests the black bars have to do with a subject stability section and that it hides the use of certain MKUltra techniques. Rumor says the genetic tracking redactions hide evidence that Project Gentleman extends to the children of defectors. They claim the agency monitors the offspring of every high-level defector to ensure they don't grow up to reconnect with their father's former government. Some believe the 1,900 redacted pages hide a frequency-based shield installed in defector homes, using subsonic hums to keep the neighbors away and ensure no one ever stays long enough to notice the occupant's strange accent. Speculation persists that the redactions have to do with an asset reactivation section, which proves the agency is sending retired gentlemen back into their home countries using advanced plastic surgery to make them look like completely different people. Fringe gossip argues the redacted sections describe private communities in Florida that are entirely populated by defectors, creating a mini Soviet Union where everyone is a spy and no one knows who to trust. Whispers from the dark web suggest that the redacted final interment records prove that the agency doesn't just bury defectors, they freeze them in cryostasis, hoping to download their memories once technology catches up to the human brain. A wild theory claims the missing 1900 pages describe local police officers who were removed because they accidentally pulled over a Project Gentleman subject and saw through their fake ID. Conspiracy enthusiasts argue that the cultural integration redactions hide the CIA's partnerships with Hollywood to create fake reality shows that are actually just elaborate sets to keep defectors entertained and contained. Some whispers suggest the redactions are so heavy because they prove that the 2026 world leaders are all participants in Project Gentleman, having defected from a rival reality that we don't even know exists yet. Was Project Gentleman a success? Tactically, it was a resounding success. The program successfully secured some of the most significant intelligence breakthroughs of the Cold War, including the identities of hundreds of Soviet spies. It proved that luxury is the best incentive for betrayal. Strategically, it was a constant headache. The cost of maintaining a gentleman for 40 years often outweighed the initial value of their secrets. However, as the files suggest, the agency remains committed to the idea that a golden parachute is the only way to catch a falling star. As far as technological and operational breakthroughs go, the Velvet Cage led to breakthroughs in the management of human assets, such as identity synthesis, the ability to build a fully functional deep cover file for a civilian in the heart of America. Psychological maintenance, perfecting the balance of comfort and control to prevent mental breakdowns in high-stress subjects. Asset resettlement doctrine, the foundation for modern witness protection programs. And low-profile security, advanced methods for protecting a target in public without drawing attention from bystanders. Project Gentleman reminds us that the truth can be hidden anywhere, even behind the white picket fence of your next-door neighbor. As the files reveal, some gentlemen pay for their freedom with their country and then spend the rest of their lives paying for their comfort with their soul. Thanks for listening, and join us next time as we examine Operation Gideon. In 2020, a group of mercenaries and Venezuelan dissidents attempted to storm the coast and capture the president. We'll uncover the mercenary contracts, the botched landing manifest, and the moment the world realized that some regime changes can be bought with a credit card and a few speedboats. Join us next time for The Bay of Pigs 2.0. In the meantime, I'll see you in the archives.